Belfast Field Hockey held a signing ceremony for its entire forward line to join college programs. Here's where the Lions are going.
Belfast celebrated 3 of its field hockey players going to the next level. Peyton Wadsworth is going to St. Joseph's in Standish.
It's a beautiful small school, and they had my nursing program. The coach was sweet as ever, and it's just a beautiful place.
Sophia Larrabee will attend Husson.
When I went for my overnight, I really enjoyed spending time with the team, and the coach was just really super nice to me, and I figured that it would be a great fit.
Allison Friel is on the way to VSU Castleton.
I really like the school. I went there and I toured around with the field hockey team, which I thought was a really good opportunity to meet the girls, and they were all really nice and outgoing, and I really liked the environment there, and the campus is smaller, which I wanted, so yeah, I loved it.
They ended their high school careers on a 2-time state champion run.
It was probably the best experience of my life. Building these bonds from when we're young all the way up through high school. It's just an amazing thing to experience.
It was really great. I think I got a different experience in a lot of different players in a lot of different places, so being able to be a part of a really successful program was pretty awesome.
I'm really going to miss playing with these girls that I've been playing with, especially my sister. It's going to be hard to go play with a different team and get used to all of them, but I'm really excited for that.
Friday's moves make 5 Belfast field hockey players to join college programs this off-season. Hallie Tarbox signed with Newberry College, and Jocelyn Valou joined Franklin Pierce in November.